The name says it all.
Table Talk Show with Nikki G and Juliette.
Nikki G and Juliette.
I need a taste of your love. Ain't had it in a while. Baby, just come a little closer. We ain't got none but time. So until the world's back open, let's just stay locked inside. You and I, all our vibe. Take some medicine, baby, let me get you high. Every day, every night. The entire year, been talking whole 365. Stay home now. Don't you let go. Don't let go now. Stuck in my heart, sober. Think I'm gonna lose my mind. I need a taste of your love. Ain't
that reading that resume, boy, you sound like you busy.
I'm trying. Trying to think.
So Kasey, welcome to Table Talk.
Welcome.
Hi guys, what's up? Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on our interview because we planned it before and we're super excited to have you. And I know everybody has so much different things going on, from 9 to 5s to different schedules and stuff like that. So we're excited that we were able to do it today.
Yeah, and then I'm on a different time zone too, so I know we're trying to coordinate all of that as well.
Oh yeah, what time is it over there?
It's 4 p.m. here in Los Angeles.
Oh, 4 p.m.
Oh, you're 3 hours behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's always a challenge being on the West Coast because my phone will start ringing at 6 in the morning. And I'm like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, because Juliette was asking.
That just comes with it. I'm accustomed to it now.
All right. For some reason, I was thinking that I was telling her that you go back and forth in traveling and maybe from Trinidad to California or to Los Angeles and stuff like that.
Right.
So we didn't realize.
I mean, I'm mainly based here now. I've been in LA like 6 years now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I still go to Trinidad frequently, so it seems like I'm not living here. So a lot of people still don't know that.
Yeah, we don't. I didn't realize that you were actually living over there. Yeah. So Kasey is the renowned international producer that everybody's raving about. I mean,
hear names, hear things.
He has a long catalog. It's amazing,
Especially for one so young, Kasey. I mean, gosh, how does it feel being like that? You're like.
I actually find I older, but we don't have to open that kind of wombs now. But,
well, I am gonna say, how early did you start in the industry?
I started from young, you name it. I started from crawling, just looking on, learning in the studio because my dad, Mr. Kenny Phillips, is in music. So I had a super early start. And then I want to believe my first song was done when I was 10 or 11. So that's why I could say now I have 20 plus years and people just watch me like, how old are you?
There, exactly.
No, that really don't crack. That's what
so people get confused, but it's because it started so early and that's why it kind of added up from way back then.
From back then, yeah. Wow. What was the first song that you produced, if you remember?
I keep saying it's a Iowa George. It's a spin-off from Tractor. I think it was Right Up on the Tractor, and we did a B-side to that, which was I Run the Party, and I think that was the first check I ever got in my life. And I was like, what, $3,000 as a kid? I was like,
whoa, especially at 10.
I didn't know what to do with this. I was like, I don't even have a bank account. What do I do with this? So, that was the first money I ever see. But yeah, I think it was Iowa George. I Run the Party was the name. So that, yeah, that's way back.
But which genre of music do you prefer? I mean, a lot of people would say maybe soca because you're in the soca industry and you're from the Caribbean and stuff like that. But I see that you do dance hall, soca, reggae, pop, R&B and hip hop?
So funny way to answer that question. Now, growing up, I always admired and looked at all the hip hop, mainstream hip hop, R&B, pop stuff, because that was like the goal.
Yes.
I would kind of study Timbaland, study Neptunes, and be like, yo, I want to do this when I grow up. But I mean, I was born into soca, so that's what I knew. I trained in that for years. I lived in that for years, and there was a point where, how to break this down? There was a point where I got the opportunity to intern in LA, and in doing that, we were kind of seeing the game, seeing the industry, seeing how it works. And then that was for a year. Went back home to Trinidad. Now I always had, and people are gonna laugh at this, I always had the motto of, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this soca thing. I want to go, right? My goal was, I can't do this. I ready to go. Because this was way back when the industry was, there was no structure. Or there was less of a structure back then. So I was like, all right, I need to learn this hip hop thing and I need to be out of here, gone. Because you know that's usually the thing that has happened. And after I did the internship and came back home and applied some of the knowledge that I got to the soca game and realized we started to get some semblance of structure. And it took me 5 years to move back to LA, which is, I'm here now 6 years.
Okay.
So it took me 5 years to kind of build the brand and the company back up to be able to be like, all right, we could move to LA now. And at that point, when it was time to move, I was like, wait, this soca thing kind of working. So it was this weird self-intervention of, we can't, this actually working as a career. Like, you don't really need to leave it alone, because that was trust me, that was the goal.
Yeah.
But with everything, we applied and started to do like digital streaming, songwriters, and everything that came with it. Then the workshops ended up coming afterwards. It was like, this kind of working. so with that being said, I kind of stuck with it, and now I try to keep innovating and being the pioneer to change things and make things better and bring new things to the game. Okay. So that's a long-winded answer to say I love soca. I mean, that's our thing.
It's on our blood.
But now I also still admire pop, hip hop, R&B, and that stuff. So it's kind of this weird hybrid where I like both.
Yeah.
And I want to try to exist right here.
Yeah.
So that's the answer to that question.
But they mesh together when you think of it, because the music that comes out, let's say, like hypothetical, if you listen to any pop or hip hop, somewhere in between it has a mixture of a Caribbean sound.
Well, yeah, the borders for genres now kind of disappearing, and everybody kind of blending up with somebody. But yeah, they I think, well, a lot of these songs now have that little Caribbean flair. And then some of these songs with that, some of the Afrobeat stuff getting so popular.
Exactly.
So it's this weird, I don't want to say not weird, but it's this interesting time that we're in where a lot of the smaller unknown music starting to come to the forefront. So yes. I think it's a great time now for soca where we as and I'm saying we as the collective, as the industry, the producers, the writers, the artists, we have the opportunity now to do something different and try to take this beyond just the borders of the Caribbean or Trinidad and Tobago and kind of expand the genre, because I think now is the time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So then that is your goal. Your goal set right now is just to expand this genre into something just explosive.
Hence the move to Los Angeles. Hence the build of the studio that I'm in. That's the goal. It's a long-winded goal, but that's the goal. Staying in Trinidad, doing the same thing every year, it's great for some people, but I believe that it was time to branch out.
Yeah.
And kind of aim for the stars. you know they always say aim for the stars and you might fall on the clouds. I rather take that than stay on the street.
For the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the goal.
So then is that something that your dad, I mean, I'm sure your dad gave you advice along the way, right? Loads and loads and loads of bits. What is one of the things that he said that really panned out to be true and has helped push you forward?
You know what's interesting, and I really thinking, because I'm really not trying to I don't want to misquote anything.
It's your dad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, to be honest, I don't think in his head, in bringing us up in music per se and teaching and all of this, I don't think he would have thought that me and myself, my brother, nor my sister, I don't think he would have ever thought that, hey, they would get into music and leave Trinidad. I don't think anybody thinks about that, right? Yeah. It is more so they will get into music and be great at that, right? Yeah. We're not thinking they're going to leave and do X, Y, Z, ABC. I mean, of course, that's great. So I don't think his advice was ever go out there and be somebody. It's more so be great at what you do.
You do.
I do remember there was a crossroad where it was it was a crossroad where it's like, do you know, after school, do you now continue further studies in this field? Do you fly out and continue studies in going to audio engineering school? And it was kind of like, well, I don't know if that makes sense, because you kind of already know most of the stuff. Going to the school now is really just for the degree. Yeah. Does it make sense? And I think that's why we kind of was like, not really making sense to do that. But that was my path. That's not me telling everybody to do that, because school and getting the certification is great. I still went back to do certain certificates to make sure that I'm certified in some of the software and stuff that I use, because it's always good to have that on the resume, as you all mentioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there was a point where it was like, well, what's next? Do we go to school? What do we do? But yeah, we decided against it just for obvious reasons. It was kind of like, we are already doing this to some degree. But I could do both. I could do this, do some courses, and kind of build along the way. So yeah, so I don't think the advice was ever learn this, fly out, and leave here. I mean, I guess any parent would think that to some degree. Like, I want you to be great and go out there and be somebody. But I mean, I could be wrong, but I think if you ask him now if this was ever the goal, I don't know what he would say.
But does he ever say that he's proud of you, and he's like the same thing that you're saying? Has he said anything to the effect where you feel like, you know what, my dad is proud of me of doing X, Y, and Z? And you know, Caribbean parents on the whole is about education. Yeah.
Right. But also Caribbean parents on the whole are also about tough love. So, you know, they don't really ever say, hey, I'm proud of you. I mean, he will in different ways, and it's just knowing how to recognize that. But yes, he would. Yes, he would.
Yeah. I mean, I can commend you for doing it the way you did, because
thank you.
So many of our kids, you know, like my daughter is about to go to college now, and they come out owing so much in debt. Your way of doing it is so much better. You cut through all of that because you're already in the industry. So
yeah, I mean, but my way was also a slight exception, because I got an early start in it. If had I not have that early start, I would have probably had to go to school and learn it the textbook way. So I understand both, and both has its place and its value. It's just what worked for me. I don't think everybody life path is different. Because I could, let's just say, for example, me versus your daughter, it's not a competition, but just saying, I could apply for things that she applied for and she would get through because she has a certificate. So there's the pros and cons that come with it. I think now I'm at a point now where I could kind of jump over that, but it took a while to kind of build up to that point now.
Get there. So I'm sure then you had loads of obstacles on along the way,
Of
because
course.
you were pretty much learning it from scratch.
Of course.
And
Of
yes.
course.
So what was one of the hardest obstacles that you had to overcome? Because what I'm trying to show the viewers is it's not a piece of cake. You don't just wake up and decide, oh, I want to be a producer and I'm going to do this.
Right.
There's things that is going to come at you no matter what.
And he's
so
talking
what was
about
like
20 years.
Yeah, I would say the biggest obstacle, and still an obstacle to this day, is business literacy and financial literacy. So back in, let's say when I was 16, 17, 18, I knew nothing of running a business. I knew nothing of making this a career. All these things I had to learn through trial and error. And I remember, and I always give this story. I remember the point of I was doing this music thing and making money here and there, but I never really used the bank because, you know, as musicians and creatives, we get paid either in cash or check and we take the money, we have it. Yeah, so I tried to go to the bank to do something. I tried to get a loan. And they was like, well, at that point I had $14 in my account because none of the money was going through the bank. Right. And I think they told me, it was like, well, you have no track record of moving money here. Why would we give you a loan? We can't. And it was a small loan too. So it was kind of like embarrassing. I was like, you'll just deny me for a loan when I know I could make XYZ money and pay this because it's a small repayment. And I was like, nah, boy, this can't work. It's like this can't work. I need to do something different. And I think that was the point where I was like, okay, time to get serious and time to make this a career.
Make something.
And I started to move towards now registering it as a company and learning that whole thing, because that's a disaster. For lack of a better term. At that age, doing that is a disaster because you have to figure out all these things: registering a company, opening an account, directors, shares, logos, trademarks, name,
taxes.
And
then taxes. Oh gosh, let me even start on taxes. So.
But what helped you? What guided you through that? Because some people, as you say, business literacy. Did you have someone to guide you along the way?
Luckily,
or people around you.
You're gonna laugh at this. Luckily, my mother and father met in the bank.
Wow.
So they worked in the bank. So I had somewhat of a guide of what banking is.
That was good, yeah.
Hey, go in the bank and talk to this person. They could guide you through this, blah, blah, blah. And then also my dad ran a business. My mom was transitioning out of the bank to run business with my dad. So they had accountants and people who could guide me. And it was trial and error. Honestly, it was trial and error. Like, I think up to this day, I probably changed the company name once or twice, because back then when you would register, it's like, oh, this ain't making no sense no more. So it's just trial and error, and you learn as you go. But yeah, I think that's still a struggle to this day, because now moving to the US, you have to learn US taxes, which we don't even need to. So it's still a challenge. We don't learn those things growing up, especially in the Caribbean. We don't learn business literacy, even how to use a credit card. It might sound so simple. We don't learn that growing up. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Like, I didn't know that. Like, I just know a credit card, you pay it back, and you kind of do this thing, and you might owe, you might not owe, but that was it. Not knowing that it has so many little hacks and things you could do with credit cards and move money here and do this and then put this business card, this and that. Like, it's so much things. We don't learn those things. So
is that,
go ahead.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was done. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, so I was just piggybacking off of that. Now that you teach the kids in schools, you know, that you go into the schools and you teach them, do you teach them about this, like, to kind of like help them, or?
Well, no, because that's not my field of expertise. Okay. We kind of keep it revolved around music. Okay. Music production, and then the business of music. We do teach the business of music. So it's kind of like how to get contracts in order, how to register your brand, business etiquette we do as well, like how to send a proper email, because you wouldn't believe how many emails I get that's not proper. So like, it might seem real simple, but trust me, like I just get a DM today about yo man, I'm in Los Angeles. I see you produce. Let's work.
And that's not gonna work. Yeah. People
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Think about the youth. That is how they. That is.
And I get that. That's the culture, that's the slang. But it's like, let's work. Where you want to be a receptionist? Like, I'm not sure what you're asking me to do.
Oh, see, he wasn't specific.
Exactly. We teach those things. Like I remember the workshop in Trinidad. We pulled on Patrice Million because she's great at business etiquette and organizing your company, and she kind of gave a whole breakdown of how you send an email, how do you introduce yourself, or how you ask for what you want, like simple things you would think is a given, but trust me,
give me that now.
Yeah, trust me.
But
the kind of emails I see, whew.
Oh my god, you would think that people would take the advantage of this, of what you do, you know. And as you said, like, people don't know about credit cards, so if it's online, they probably won't do, because they'll say, I don't have a credit card, I can't go online and do something like this. There's no way of them sending you cash, you know. And I think in Trinidad they don't have Cash App. They can use PayPal.
Well, yeah, when we did the workshop, we had to put a local option of deposit because of that, because, you know, credit cards and PayPal is a unicorn in Trinidad. So so we had to put a local banking option, because we literally would be missing 50, almost 60% of the market, because they don't have it. They can't do it. Yeah. So I say we don't learn those things. It might sound real simple, but I mean, I have friends who never traveled, and when you start talking about PayPal and Cash App and Venmo, they're like, what?
What is that? Yeah. I go through it.
So
I figure it out a lot.
That has to make it a little bit hard, though. That means that no matter what you're teaching it, you have to do the basics. You have to dummy it down so that they understand
all the
every
time.
Step of the way.
All the time. And I think that's partly why Patrice even started her Instagram stuff, because I think, and I might be wrong, but I remember that she was going through her own worries and troubles of registering her company, and there was so much misinformation and misguidance. She's like, this can't be what's going on out here, and she's like, I need to at least do some basic tidbits of how to register a company, how to get a BIR, how to do these things. And that's kind of why she started. And then people was like, yo, we needed to know this, and that's what gave her start with all that content, because it was needed. It's a wide open space for that. We don't learn that in school back home. So yeah.
Oh my God, you are well-rounded for real. Because I know with business, I've helped a few people start their business, and the EIN number and all of that stuff, and it really is basic. But because they don't know, they think the best thing for them to do is to just do it, and do it without the credentials. But they're doing themselves such an injustice, especially when it comes to that thing that you're worried about, which is the taxes.
well, that's one thing. Even here in California, I know we segueing into this business thing, but even here in California, when you register a business, you still have to register with 3 or 4 different bodies after that, which I think California is unique to that. So yeah, I might be able to go on California state and register a company, but that's still 30% of the process.
Yeah.
So it have a lot of people is get jammed with that. Like, yo, I run on a business. So it's okay. So where your tax board registration, where other stuff is like. So I mean, I commend everybody who want to do the DIY, but it have entities out there that you just hire and you pay them to do the full works, because it have so many little things you could miss that could get you in trouble.
That's true. That's so true. Yeah.
But then on the flip side to that, have some people who charging some ridiculous fees to be like, yo, $2,000, let me go open me a company and do all of those things. Now, that's a little high. But if you could get halfway in that and find a company that's willing to do it and do the proper thing, you're good. Because what a lot of people don't know and realize is that opening a company is a legal process. It's not just a business process. There are contracts, there are forms, there's declarations you have to sign. who are the directors, who are the shareholders. Like those are legal documents that attorneys have to do for you. You can't do that for yourself.
No.
So that's a big step that a lot of people miss with
Yeah.
registering companies and taxes and all of that.
And I think that's why they don't do it, because it sounds so technical to everyone, especially
And it's scary.
for
It's
money.
a scary
It's a-
thing.
It
Yeah,
is.
the unknown.
It is. It's expensive. It's expensive for no reason.
Yeah, yeah.
It is expensive.
It is.
So,
It could be
so yeah.
expensive.
Do you find that the old bees I mean, nowadays I don't think anyone will come and say, okay, could you just do a song? But do you find that the old school, they didn't do much in terms, oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, we lost your
I'm
phone.
sorry
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that. I got a call.
We were hearing you, but we weren't seeing you.
Was it?
Do you find like the old bees, they didn't do too much in terms of contracts back then? Everything was like word of mouth. Versus
Oh yeah,
now.
definitely. That contracts is a whole other unicorn to get into. That's a next.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially in
I
the-
guilty of it
in
too,
the-
because as a creative, you don't want to spoil the process of doing the work, and you're in the vibe, and you're going to start to bring up, well, all right, how much percentage again? You got to sign this contract, because it could kill the vibe, and that's what a lot of creatives think. But you just have to find up. You have to find a process that works. So like now we have digital contracts. So when we finish in the studio, we kind of figure it out quick. Oh, 50-50, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna send you a digital contract. You sign it on your phone, everybody good.
Yeah.
The downside to that is if this man or lady come and sign this on their phone and did nobody review it, they could always come back and say, well, I didn't know. So you see, it's so technical, and then people don't have the proper attorneys to review the proper contracts. So that's a whole other thing. But yeah, back in the day, yeah, that was there was a lot of sharks. There's a lot of sharks that came in the game and was like, yo, I'm gonna get you 30,000 and let me buy a catalog from here. So you will see like Calypsonians who don't even own their own music, and somebody else own it, because that was what was going on back in the day. They're just looking for the hustle, and they taking the money. So now a lot of these songs in disputes and estates fighting to try and figure out who own what and this, and so that's just, I mean, we're trying to break those cycles and do better now. So
Educate
Yeah.
people. I love it.
Yeah.
So then that means that we definitely have to take your details and so that people know exactly where to reach out to you. And
Sure. I mean, we have the workshop now is digital, so it's all the essentials workshop. We were doing it in person before the pandemic. It was a 5-day workshop, but now we have it digital. We have a recording of the workshop in Trinidad, the last one we did. So now it's kind of accessible to anybody all over the world.
is it expensive?
No, it's not. It's actually I think we have it for $50 for each day, so you could go and choose which day
That's great.
you want. If it's
Oh my
production,
God.
if it's mixing, we have $50 for each day.
Okay.
I want to believe because this space was new for me. Like the whole education space just kind of happened. I am no teacher. I am not certified to be a teacher. I don't even speak to people. So I was super shy growing up. So when this teaching thing happened, I was like, me teach? I was like, all right. But it kind of snowballed into this thing, and I made up my mind on the last workshop. I was like, I need to have a digital recording of this, because only so much people could attend in person,
True.
but this digital version could live forever. So that's why we did it. Yeah.
And digital makes it so that you can always be collecting the money. The money's coming in at any time. You wake up in the morning and you got like 100
No,
people ready to-
now you get it. Now you get it.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah. So that's, so I know you're asking about the contact info. So yeah, we have the workshop with all the info, everything that we taught on those days. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good. So now, I mean, we talked a lot about the business aspect
Yeah.
of it, and I know because when he said, "Okay, we jump," I heard
Yeah,
the hint of it, gosh,
I know we're going down.
But your catalog is eclectic. I mean, and plus, you know, the people that you work with, like Jimmy October, Voice, Samantha J, Marshall Montano, and the list goes on. You know, it's like really amazing. How do you, besides the artist having a history, how do you pick who you want to work with? just like you say, if someone texts you and stuff like that, how do you decide?
And before you even say that, to add to that, is there someone that you really, really want to work with? Let's add that
you haven't worked with, but
that question hard to answer because that's a long list of people.
Exactly.
How do we pick? No. I think there's two sides to this.
Okay.
My mission has always been, we spoke about this before, which is expanding the reach of the genre.
Yes.
So we might do the soca rhythms, and we have the pool of the soca artists. Great. We know who are the established ones. We know who's the B, the C, the new ones. Cool. No disrespect to anybody, but I mean, yeah. So what I tried to do was do the rhythms and try to include an outside artist or outside entertainer that could help bridge the gap, if that makes sense. So so that rhythm with Samantha J Jamaican, but she also had a single in the US. So and funny story again, I thought she was unreachable because she probably was signed at a point to a label, and once you sign to a label, you can't reach them. But it was so weird that when we reached out to her, literally we was like, we have this rhythm, we have this song. They responded and said, yeah, let's record Saturday. Literally. Like, let's record Saturday. And if I was in Trinidad, I'd be like, well, how are we doing that? But luckily I was here.
You're there, yeah.
And we just recorded it. And we figured out all the business stuff and it was great. But now what people do, I'm not going to get on the nerd side here, it's something called active and passive discovery, especially in the digital space, especially with YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Now, how to explain this? Somebody listening to Samantha J, because she's a popular artist, they're going to listen to her song. I think her single was Tight Up Skirt. But then they might go down the list and they might reach to Move Your Body, which is a song we did with her because she's on it. But guess what? After Move Your Body, they're going to go to Precision stuff because we now aligned.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So now there's a passive discovery happening. Well, the next song that play will be Marshall Montano Rough Wine because it's on the same rhythm. Now it jumped to Marshall's song, and then now guess what? The next song gonna be Precision Chase the Life. So it was this bridge that I kept trying to do. Okay, Samantha J, Krisha Turner, who else was? I can't remember the other names now, but we're always trying to pull on some of the bigger names to keep expanding the bubble. Right. So that was a conscious effort that I was always trying, because I mean, let's be real, if we're doing soca rhythms, it'll be the same artists all the time. And that's what it's been. We know who the artists are. We could go to different islands, cool, but how are we now? Because this is kind of like you're batting in your own backyard.
Right.
How are you going to start to move this bubble and expand this bubble? So it's just trying to get different, like Niniola is huge in the Afrobeat side. So I was like, I need to get Niniola on one of my rhythms, and I got on one of my rhythms. Guess what gonna happen now? When Niniola song play, and then it come down to Niniola pocket, Precision gonna get a little inside. So it's more so it's a little piece of nerd science. but that's the goal. We're trying to expand the genre, because we could do soca songs all the time, but where we gonna go from there? Where we expand into? So that's the answer to your question about choosing the artist. And then sometimes it just comes down to, well, to be honest, we get these songs from the writers most times, and then we say, okay, this song like this artist, this song like this artist, and we reach out and we say, hey, we're interested in this, are you interested? And then we will have a ABC. If the A don't take it, we go to the B, we go to the C. And that's kind of the process. Sometimes it's hard to work with the newer artists and the upcoming ones, because it's just more so you have to break a new artist. I try to do one new artist or one unknown artist on every rhythm. Sometimes it suffers, sometimes it works. So is this weird gamble of let's take the chance? And I just have to explain this to artists all the time. It's like, yo, I know I would love to give you a chance all the time, but just know that there's a gamble I take in and I could lose money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So I can't pair rhythm with 6 unknown new artists and expect it to play, because guess what? The media personnel and the DJ is going to watch your cast and be like,
Who is this?
I don't know who this is.
And you know that.
So I try to keep the big names and slide in one. So at least these names could carry this. So that's what happened with Irfan and in your eyes, Irfan House. In Your Eyes, he was
song.
nobody knew him then.
Yeah.
Nobody knew him then.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with that. Actually, Cheers to Life was that. Voice Cheers to Life.
Really?
Was that? Yeah. The main song was Cohen and Patrice, Unforgettable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Voice was a kind of, all right, it sounded good, but we know that at that point he wasn't huge yet. He was known in the like Junior Soca Monarch game, and it was kind of like, okay, well, we'll do it. My little brother Kyle, he was like, yo, I like this song. All right, let me give him the blind. And lo and behold, Cheers to Life just comes on. Go, and I was like,
it's it.
Okay.
And he has a good voice. You know,
no, voice is great, but at that point, nobody knew who Voice was.
Yeah,
so it was crazy how that happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Amazing. But I love the work that you're doing, because reading through your catalog, reading through your bio and everything, and I'm seeing went to London, you know, the digital streaming that you're doing on Amazon and iTunes and stuff like that. I think that's very important. Juliette and I was speaking about that with the streaming and things that people don't know. You would find that artists doesn't even know that their music is on iTunes.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that I mean, it's gotten a lot better. When I started and I was telling peers in the game, like, yo, you need to get on this, it was kind of like this box of witchcraft that nobody wanted to touch. It's like, boy, I don't know about that, you know. You see that kind of contract thing, and you know, Caribbean people could be. I was like, bro, you need to get on this, and it took them some years.
Yeah.
But I think everybody kind of hipped it now and they get on it. It still have the few who don't know it fully, but yeah, we're in a time and space now where everybody needs to be digital.
Yeah.
At least on the music end.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends who right now, I guess because of the culture, as you say, you know, Caribbean culture, and some would be like, okay, I'll just put it up on YouTube and people would play it or just share it with me. And it's not like that. You have to take control of your own work. You know, you have to pay some money in order to get somewhere. It's not always going to be free or barter where I give you something. And
well, I mean, and now it's even easier. You could put your work up and a company will take commission rather than you paying an upfront fee. So there's options now. Like I could pay to put it up, or I could give a commission. Yeah. It's so easy now. You could literally put a song up from your phone now. Like I could upload a song through using one of these apps and get it on Spotify in a week through my phone. I don't even need a laptop. It's crazy how accessible it is now.
Yeah, it's very, because I do commercials, and that's what I did. And I got it on Spotify. I got it on Amazon. It's been a year now. And then afterwards they contact you and they say, okay, you don't have to do anything. It's going to go back in. And that's how I learned about it. You know, I'm like, this is the time for me to, because I do drops and ringtones.
Right.
So I got my ringtones on there and it was super easy, you know? I mean, it wasn't that easy. I still have to do the artwork and make sure.
Yeah, of course.
You know, all that stuff. But
I mean, they always have certain requirements and standards that you have to meet, but that's just part of it.
Yeah.
Wow, you are a bag of knowledge, and I am sure everybody now wants to ring off your phone. So I know that we can't hold you for too much longer, and I know that you know we are given a time limit. Even though I'm enjoying this, so I could talk to you for at least another 45 minutes. But I do want you to tell, you know, the viewers exactly where they can reach you, and we'll make sure it's in the description box below. And last but not least, someone who wants to sing, what would be your biggest advice that you can, you know, and they got the talent, what is the biggest advice you can give them before you?
And I always end with this. My biggest advice is master your craft. Even if you are a voiceover specialist who wants to do voiceovers, commercials, if you are a graphic artist, even if you're a musician, a producer, whatever it is, master your craft. So, for instance, graphic artists, you use Photoshop. You should know everything in Photoshop inside out. You should get certified in Photoshop. There shouldn't be anything you unturned in Photoshop. So voiceovers, there's broadcasting courses you could do to figure out how to deliver your voice with the proper intonation, blah blah blah. There's stuff like that. I think we overlook those things too much because we think that we have to go to school to do it, and we don't. So I've seen numerous times big producers in the game will come in and they don't even know the software that they use every single day.
Wow.
And I'm like, how do you know how you don't know what our buttons do? And you're watching this every day of your life? That can't make sense.
Yeah.
So it's like master your craft in whatever you do. It could be, you name it. It could be you are a copywriter, you do resumes for somebody. I just use an example. Then get certified in that. I am certified in resume writing 101 from wherever. I'm just saying. Yeah. And they have those things like, I'm sure Adobe Photoshop has direct certification. So like we use Logic. I could get certified from Logic and Apple directly. I think you all saw that in your resume. But that's me just doing the exam. I just did the exam, learn this stuff and do it directly. But in learning that stuff, I learned so much little things that I overlook in this software that in front of your face every day, and you're like, wait, this could I do that? Oh, shucks. So it's crazy how much times I see like graphic artists, Photoshop, video directors, like you could get a certification on coloring. It might sound simple, but coloring is a whole science by itself.
Yeah, it is.
I am sure Zoom has certification to be something in Zoom. Like you won't believe, but when you start looking at it, they have all these little courses online for $49, $89. You could get certified or learn whatever you want to do. So that is my advice. Just master your craft. I always say that. Whatever you want to do, be the best at that.
Right.
And the contact info, well, Precision Productions on all social media, Instagram, Precision Prod, website, precisionglobalmusic.com. You could send us an email, all singers, songwriters, artists, just reach out and we'll check it out. I mean, we may not answer immediately, but we'll definitely check it out.
Check it out.
Wow. Kasey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
We really enjoyed our time, and I hope that maybe one day you can come back and
of course. I mean, this is easy. I would gladly come back. I mean, if you all have more questions, we could settle next time and do it again.
Oh,
yes, we do have more questions.
We could talk more music stuff and not so much business stuff and do it
again. Yeah, because we took up a lot of time with the business aspect, because, the Caribbean and everything. But it was a pleasure speaking with you. As Juliette said,
thank you.
You're always welcome to come back. We do have a lot of questions.
Sure.
And
I have some projects upcoming, so maybe when those things come out, we could link up again and talk about it. I think that would be great.
Oh my God!
All right,
Kasey, yes, thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Kasey.
All right, take care.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Guys, what a guy of knowledge, well-rounded. Listen, if you want to learn anything, learn from him. You heard him. Perfect your craft.
Yeah.
You have to. And get certified in it. That's the easiest way to do it. That way, no one can rip you off. No one can take anything from you. You know it going in. Wow.
Amazing. I mean, these are things that we know because the internet is a wealth of knowledge. We use it for the wrong things. We don't use it to get educated the way how we're supposed to. And they offer so many different things, but people just don't use it for the benefit of what it's supposed to be. And he made a point where we use an app, but we really don't know what it's about because we use it and we get off and we don't really pay attention to say, well, let's poke at it and find out the questions and
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, "Oh, even I'm guilty of that." Yeah, I mean, I do some things, and I'm like, I wonder what that button does. No, let me not touch it right now. You know, but touch the button. You never know.
Let me just say this, because we really didn't get to go through his work and stuff like that. But Kasey is actually a 5 Road March and 8 Soca Monarch winner.
Wow.
He's outstanding arranging TNT International Soca Monarch competitions, best international soca producer, producing the best rhythms and best soca tracks in the UK. I mean, this man has a long list. And you heard him say 20 years, and he started at a very young age. And then he does the mentoring. Which is the Audio Essential Workshop, you know? And as he said, it's what, $50, between $40 and $50.
Yeah.
And different dates that, you know, he does that.
Anyone could pay that. Save that up and do it a day. That's a day of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
No one can say they can't do it. It, you know, it doesn't take that much. Wow.
And if you're in LA, he has a full service production studio that you can go to. Hit him up, email him, and see, you know, what you can do. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
The show was amazing.
It was amazing. Thank you again, Kasey. You definitely coming back on, guys.
Yes.
Back on.
Yes. And we'll do 10% business, 90% music this time, because I tell you, the list that this guy has, like, he sent a link, and they were, I mean, you know, see my phone, right? But all these things, like, I mean, my pictures just came up, but he has a long catalog of very, very good artists. And even the ones that he mentioned, like Voice and the others, some that are not known, is like, the music is just awesome. And then with the music, you get the writer and you get the video in a package. Right. But when he comes back, whenever he comes back, he'll explain that. But
wow,
you're going to be working with a producer that knows his stuff, you know?
Yeah. So if you want to see Kasey come back again, please like, subscribe, and share.
Yes.
You're watching Table Talk with Nikki G and Juliette. Yes. Thanks for watching, guys.
Later.
Would have a natural noise because it's analog gear. Transistors, transformers, different parts will have natural noise that you can't get away from, but you're trying to give the best signal that you could. So you will use the best cables, the best devices. Even sometimes when you use old analog gear, you get a big hiss. That sometimes as people like that. People like that noise, like it. So
I will turn on the mic for that, yes.
I couldn't help it.
I actually really like it, and he is accurate.
Even if you all know or notice, in Waves plugins, they actually have the analog emulation, and when you turn it on, you get a hiss. That's because some people like that. Does make it better for them. I try to run away from it, but sometimes they can't get away from it. Untidy session. And for those who may be wondering, my chain has autotune on it because I use the live version autotune, so that when she sings, autotune does a cool job of correcting her. Nothing too drastic, just enough to kind of just keep her in check, not to make her sound like T-Pain. Let me play back and listen to that.
Why you gotta be like that? Why you treating me like that? Thought that people better than that.
Nice, so we have one solid stack. For this example, I still kept one lead and then had kept the other 3 as doubles. So let's do chorus, fills, lead. Middle pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah. I might do a few of these and just let Rubik Road, and then I could comp it after.
Why you gotta be like that? 1 minute you love me, next minute you hate me. Goddamn, you crazy. Why you treating me like that? 1 minute you want me, next you never call me. That love is amazing. Thought that people better than love me, next minute you hate me. Goddamn, you crazy.
Welcome to Table Talk with Nikki G and Juliette, where we bring to you highlights of
Entrepreneurs, leaders, organizations, and much more.
a broad spectrum of professionals, including chefs, artists, designers, musicians, and more.
I feel so blessed today. I don't wanna live like yesterday. So please don't stop my vibe. Today I'm gonna make it right.
Our show is a new brand of talk shows where we educate, bring transparency, and last but not least, fun. Table Talk.
Table Talk.
If I tell you, say I love you, oh. My money, my body, now your own, oh baby.
Get ready.
Table Talk.
A roller coaster of emotions, all wrapped into one. Caribbean style.
With this British Jamaican
And Trini.
Look in the mirror, say yes, I'm the best, 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 best.
We'll cover our historical roots as well.
so keep it locked.
This is Nikki G.
And this is Juliette.
Welcome to Table Talk. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and iTunes.
Come to my blessings, blessings, yeah. Church, you bless me, no one could take this away.
Table Talk.
Table Talk.